Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this WIOA Wednesday webinar. My name is Kirsten Bayer with the Illinois Center for Specialized Professional Support at Illinois State University, and I will be the moderator for today's webinar. Today's topic is a panel discussion about hosting a virtual job fair with Illinois workNet and helping connect businesses to available services. Again, my name is Kirsten Bayer with ICSPS, and if you have any technical issues this morning, please feel free to chat me or reach out to me via email, and I can assist you with those. A couple of housekeeping things before we get started this morning. As a reminder, all participants on this call are in listen-only mode and cannot unmute themselves. If you have questions as the webinar proceeds, please hold those until the end. During our Q&A session, we will address those, and you can post those in the chat or the Q&A, and we will address those at the end of the session. Another reminder that this webinar is being recorded, and the presentation recording and slides from today will be available on our website and Illinois workNet's website within 48 hours. I've put that link in the chat for you all. If you would like to access the slides today, you may do so, and then the recording will be up within 48 hours. In an effort to be as accessible as possible, this webinar will be offering closed captioning, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. This closed captioning isn't as accurate as we would love it to be. It does a pretty good job though, but if you need more accurate closed captioning, please feel free to access that on our YouTube on the recorded version. We are able to edit those closed captions fully. And then a reminder, if you have faulty internet or audio connection this morning and would prefer to call in, please feel free to do so by using that phone number in your original registration email that you've received. And with that, I'm going to start us off with our beginning polls for this morning that we do every single Wednesday webinar. And I appreciate Lucas, that you put in the chat that you were hearing all of our little behind the scenes spiels and talk, but it's all good. We're on the same team, so we appreciate that. Yes, we're all on the same team. So we would just like to first know where your local area is that you're joining us from this morning. So if you could please select Chicago, Northern Illinois, Central Illinois, Southern, or if you're joining us from out of state, we would love to know this for our own analytical purposes and just so we can get to know you a little bit better this morning. So we'll give everyone about 30 seconds to answer this poll. Okay, so it looks like we are kind of sprinkled all across the state this morning, but most of us are joining from Chicago, Northern and Central Illinois, and a couple from Southern as well. So welcome everyone. Our center is located in Central Illinois, so I welcome all my fellow Central Illinoisans, and then I know a couple of our panelists are joining us from Southern Illinois as well. So we are sprinkled across the state, just like you attendees today. And then we would also like to know which partner you best represent. So if you could select that for us, if you best represent Title 1, 2, 3, or 4, or if you best represent a different WIOA partner or stakeholder, or our state or local workforce innovation board. We'll give everyone a couple more seconds to answer this poll. Okay. So most of you are joining us from Title I this morning, so welcome to all of you, and a couple sprinkled across the other partners as well. So thank you all for answering those polls and joining us this morning. We appreciate you bearing with us as we set up for you and everything this morning. And now I'm going to hand it off to our facilitator for this panel today, Mr. David Garvey. David?
Thank you, Kirsten. Good morning, everyone. My name is David Garvey. I'm the Web Content Site Specialist with SIU Center for Workforce Development. Today, I and a few others on here, which I'll introduce shortly, are going to be discussing some business services that are available that will include how the virtual job fair tool, how you can access it and utilize it, and some of the best practices with those events that we've held, and learning about how to connect businesses on a local level to other organizations and resources that can assist them in their needs, as well as a discussion of the IDES labor exchange system. And then after that, we will open it up to questions. So going through our panelists today, we have also with SIU Center for Workforce Development, Daniel Mariscal, who is our customer service representative and primary coordinator for the virtual job fair on Illinois WorkNet. We also have Theodore Duckett, business services manager with IDES as well. We also have Levon Nelson, the senior director for workforce development with ICCB. And additionally, we might have on the call Patrice Brazil, who's the human resource manager of Worldwide Flight Services, who has participated in a virtual job fair that we have facilitated. And if she is on the call, she will be covering her experiences with that event that she participated on and the outcomes or results of her organization's participation with that event. So at this time, let's go ahead and turn things over to Daniel to provide an overview of the virtual job fair tool on Illinois WorkNet, along with some of the best practices that we have learned. So Daniel.
Fantastic. Thank you for that introduction, David. I'm going to get my screen shared here. And welcome to all the folks who are on the call. Some of the names I do recognize as folks that I have worked with on virtual job fairs in the past. So great to see you all. For those folks who do not know me, again, my name is Daniel Mariscal. As David stated, I am a customer service rep with Southern Illinois University Center for Workforce Development. I am the primary individual who has been tasked with kind of administering the new virtual job fair tool. So before we kind of delve into the tool here on Illinois WorkNet, I just kind of want to give you all a background of the virtual job fair tool if you're not familiarized with it as of yet. The virtual job fair tool was actually kind of born out of necessity, as you all can imagine, with the COVID-19 pandemic. It was a directive, I believe, that came directly from the governor's office, and it came through what was deemed the Get Hired initiative. The virtual job fair tool is just one facet of that initiative. And again, just intended to connect job seekers with employers who have available positions within the state of Illinois. And that is something that we want to highlight there. All positions that we do cover here, all positions that we hold job fairs for must be within the state. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and kind of give you all an overview of the tool. And I just did want to mention again, Q&A will be held at the end, but if you do have any questions that come to mind as I'm going through this, please feel free to enter those into the chat, and we'll get those answered for you at the conclusion of all of the presenter presentations. So you'll see here up on the screen, we have the Illinois WorkNet landing page here. And obviously we made an express goal and intention to make that virtual job fair section stand out. So you'll see here, you scroll down, you'll see the virtual job fair section. There's two tabs here that you'll see. The first one will be the Set Up Virtual Job Fair tab, and that'll be primarily geared towards the employers. Second one will be the Search Virtual Job Fairs tab, which will be geared more so towards the job seeker. So to begin, we'll click on the Search Virtual Job Fairs tab. You scroll down here. What you'll see is what we call an employer booth. Again, this system might be something that you're already familiar with, but again, for the folks who are not, we'll go ahead and kind of walk through what this exactly is and the type of information that it captures. So to begin here, you'll see you can search or narrow results for these employer booths by various fields. We have a keyword search. We have a filter by industry. You can also search by proximity to location and place. So I'll click on one of these employer booths for you, just so you can see what this looks like. You'll see here, this is for Abbott, quite a large employer. And I believe they did participate in a multi-employer virtual job fair that we held for Congressman Brad Schneider and State Senator Melinda Bush. So you'll see here, linked on here is a link to Abbott's website. We'll have a section where, the employer can list where job postings are available. Obviously, a section here you'll see where industries can be demarcated. We also have a section where they can enter an employer description for job seekers who may not be 100% familiar with what it is that their business offers or does. An employer contact section. And what we did want to note here is that we do make the sharing of contact information when the booth is created completely optional. So employer reps or HR reps do not have to directly disclose, an email or phone number if they do not wish to do so. You'll see there next to that is the upcoming VJF section. In that section, if Abbott were to have an upcoming virtual job fair event, that event would be linked there. You'll see below that an archived virtual job fair videos section. And again, you'll see there's 3 dates there that are listed. Each of those links to a recording of the virtual job fair that was held. Next to that, a document section. Again, this is just any sort of documents that the employer wants to upload to share with a prospective job seeker. And then again, some informational links there as well that the employer has the option to upload when they create the employer booth. Now, circling back here to the virtual job fair, you'll see the second tab that we have here is the setup virtual job fair. This is geared more towards the employer. So I'll click on that. And you'll see here, we just have kind of a broken down or itemized list of, the instructions that it takes in order to create an employer booth. And again, we won't go over this. You can feel free to do so at a later date. But again, we've tried to make this as granular as possible for employers who are new to the system, new to the process, and also for our partners who are, trying to assist the employers in navigating the booth creation process as well. So the next thing we're going to do here is just click on this Add Booth tab. And I do want to note here, you'll see I was prompted to log into an account. In order to create the employer booth, I do want to note that you will have to create a user account on Illinois WorkNet. You can do so by clicking, this Create Account tab here. But for the sake of demonstration, we'll go ahead and log in. So when you click that employer booth tab, you'll see here, there's just a bunch of required fields that employers will have to fill out. You'll see an employer name, website, positions available within Illinois, if there are any remote working opportunities available, an employer job posting website. You'll see we also have an option for job booth start date and end date, employer description, an employer address, the industries that describe whatever open positions they have available, contact information, and then an optional, several fields here that you'll see where folks can enter links to any sort of social media accounts that they administer. So once they have gone through this, this form, if you will, they've populated it with all the information that is required or that they want to include. What they'll do at that point is click this Save and Submit Employer Booth tab. Once they do that, that booth submission will be sent to us here at Illinois WorkNet. We will typically review those employer booth submissions within 3 to 5 days. Obviously, we'll review the links, make sure that everything is accurate, up to date, and operational. Assuming that is the case, we will approve the booth, and at that point, it will be publicly discoverable and live. Circling back here, I just did want to kind of bring your attention to one more thing on the Search Virtual Job Fairs tab. And that is this VJF Events section. So if you click on that, you'll see here all of these orange boxes, if you will, are all individual virtual job fair events that we have on the calendar and that are scheduled and that are upcoming. So job seekers, agency partners, LWIAs, what have you, any of those folks can come on to this VJF event calendar section and they can see what upcoming events that we have that Illinois WorkNet will be facilitating and hosting. And again, if you click on one of these here, you'll see here a window will pop up when you click on that. There'll be a description there just, of the company, job openings that they have, again, the industry, where it's located, an employer description. And then kind of another big thing here that will also be provided is a link to the registration page that Illinois WorkNet also creates as well. We won't click on that for the sake of the presentation here today, but if you would want to register for an event, you would just click on that Eventbrite link there. It would take you to a registration page. You fill in all the information that's required, click submit, and then you would be registered for the upcoming event. And just something that I want to note as well for folks that may not be familiar with that process. Once you're registered for an event, there is an automated, set of emails that is sent out. It'll provide you with meeting information, dates and times, and any other, relevant or pertinent information that you'll need in order to, attend the virtual job fair and have a successful event. So the next thing that I would like to draw your attention to is the Partner Resources Guide. And I like to tell folks the easiest way to access this, if you will, is just to scroll down to the footer here. You'll see the Partner Resources tab. You'll click on that. You'll scroll down to this virtual job fair guide. Click on that, and then you'll see all of the resources that we have regarding the virtual job fair on Illinois WorkNet will be listed on this page. You'll see we have a partner guidance tab, partner training materials and videos section, full list of resources, and then any sort of updates that we do to the virtual job fair platform. We make sure that you all stay apprised of that. We make sure that we update that section regularly as well. So if you want to know what's going on or what updates have been rolled out, perhaps since you've used the tool last or what have you, you can find that information at that section there. For the sake of the presentation here today, I'm going to focus in on this full list of resources section. And by far, this is what we guide a lot of our partners and employers to if they are new to the virtual job fair process. So you'll see here we have a section for guidance, a section for instructions, and a section for virtual job fair planning. Again, just briefly going through that guidance section, you'll see we have, various information there for preparing for a virtual job fair, attending a virtual job fair. We have recordings that provide an overview of the presentations. We have mock PowerPoints you'll see there as well. And then for our workforce partners, we also have training sessions that we hold. And then some of you are probably already familiar with this, but we also do hold monthly meetings for our partners as well, where we provide, updates to the system, where we allow folks to come and ask questions about the virtual job fair platform, how to set up an event, so on and so forth. Next, you'll see an instruction section here. And again, this is just provided, to provide you with resources on how to, again, navigate the virtual job fair tool, create an employer booth, information that can be shared with prospective employers that you may want to be working with to set up a virtual job fair, so on and so forth. And then last but not least, you'll see here the VJF planning section. And this by far is the one that we probably use the most and that we refer our agency partners to the most as well. You'll see we have many different documents here to kind of make that process easier. We have a multi-employer virtual job fair inventory sheet, checklist timeline, PowerPoint for employers. We have various templates that collect employer information to try to, again, make that process a lot more seamless and make things easier to keep track of and coordinate as we're going through the VJF planning process. We also do provide marketing, promotion, and outreach materials for our employers as well and for agency partners there. Again, we won't click on all of those today. You can do so at your leisure, but again, we do offer all of that. Another thing that I would like to highlight that we offer as well are social media plans and templates as well, because we also do understand, navigating this new kind of virtual space, if you will. Social media might have been touch and go for a lot of agencies or for a lot of employers prior to the pandemic. Now it's the primary medium through which we're communicating, upcoming events, updates, what have you. So we have provided that as well to make things a little bit easier and a little bit more seamless as well. So I think what we're going to go ahead and do now is just kind of pivot into an overview of what the best practices are for our virtual job fairs, and then also what the follow-up is with those typically. So just to give you all an overview of the types of events that we offer here at Illinois WorkNet, there are two primary formats, if you will, that we use for our virtual job fair. We'll start with the more simpler one, if you will. That is the single employer events. And by far, as far as volume is concerned, those are the ones that we, conduct on a more regular basis. And what that is an employer, who has an employer booth created will go ahead and they will request assistance in hosting a virtual job fair. Once they do, we will be notified of that at Illinois WorkNet. I will follow up with them with some dates and times that we would be able to facilitate an event for them. Obviously, they would select a date and time that works best for their schedule. And once we do that, it'll trigger kind of a multi-step process, if you will, of things that we can facilitate for them. And, some of the things that we can do for them would be to create a registration page. We would also be sure to create an event using Zoom. And just for the folks who are on the call who may not be familiar with what we can provide or facilitate through Zoom, we do have a business level account, so we can facilitate up to 1,000 participants. What we will also do is make sure that we provide Zoom training for the employers if they're not familiar with the platform, because we know, again, for a lot of folks, this is a new this is their first foray into that digital space, so to speak, and especially, in regards to hiring events. And then what we'll do is we'll also moderate the webinar, we'll record the webinar, we'll upload that webinar again to YouTube. And then what we'll do, again, as I stated at the beginning of the presentation, is we will link that webinar to their employer booth for any job seekers who may not have been able to attend the session. Now we could pivot to kind of the second format, if you will, that we hold. And this is something that's ever growing. We're always learning. We're always refining our best practices on this format, if you will. And that is the multi-employer virtual job fair events. And again, we could go into the weeds with this here. There's so much that's included in it, as some of the folks who are on the call who have held events know. But just to give you all just a brief overview, multi-employer event, again, is exactly what it sounds like, right? So it's going to be 3 or more employers who want to hold a virtual job fair. Once they do, they'll come to us. The agency will come to us, or an employer will come to us. We'll hold a planning session, very thorough, very granular. We'll use the checklist timeline that you see up on your screen here. And again, we do want to note that we do ask for a minimum of 4 weeks for a multi-employer event. But we'll go through a planning process, typically weekly. That way we're constantly checking in, making sure everyone's meeting those goals that we have set, defined by week. And what will happen is, again, a lot of the same things that are triggered for the single employer event we'll do for the multi-employer event. So that will be creation of an Eventbrite registrations page, What we'll also do is make sure that event invites are sent out. We'll help craft and create an agenda, which will be sent out to all the planning partners who are involved. And what we'll also do is obviously market and promote very heavily on our Illinois WorkNet social media pages as well. And then the event will also be listed on the event calendar as well. So again, what we're trying to do is kind of provide that holistic approach to these virtual job fairs, make sure that agencies and employers alike who may not be familiar, again, with this process or this platform, have all the information that they need in order to execute the events successfully. And then again, for the multi-employer events, what we will also do is moderate those webinars as well. So again, that's kind of our holistic approach to these events here. I don't believe that I have anything else, but I do have David on the line. David, please feel free to include anything that I might have omitted. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Daniel. I don't think I have anything to add to what has been shared. and I believe you touched on this a little bit. So afterwards, what we'll do for whether it's a single or multi-employer event is we'll provide some follow-up information to the employers who participated and the workforce partners. Now, what we'll send to the employers is a kind of the contact information of those who registered, their name and email address that they can follow up with. If they're interested in providing more information to those who had registered, and for the partners, will provide additional information that may include the some demographic information that we've started to add to our registrations. In addition, we'll send a recording of the webinar to all parties involved, and with that, we'll send a feedback survey to make to both the attendees and the employers who participated. That way, we get a measure of how their experience was, and if there's anything in the current process that we're doing, if it could have gone smoother, we can learn from that and adjust accordingly. And one of the questions that we do ask of employers is that the state offers a variety of business services for no cost to them. And if they do answer yes, what we'll then do is connect them. We'll forward that information to our contacts at IDES. And with that, I would like to introduce Theodore Duckett of IDES, who will talk about kind of what happens there, how these organizations can connect with the employers to the business services team.
Thank you, David and Daniel and Kirsten. Business service teams. We have business service teams located throughout Illinois, within the local workforce investment areas, and also within the 10 economic development regions in Illinois. Businesses come to us in a variety of different ways. They come through us through existing relationships that we have with those companies. And as they have expanding workforce needs, they address those local business service teams. But we also get them from not only our local business service team, but our internal partners within the WIOA relationships, those core partners and required partners under WIOA. We get referrals from external partners also, chambers, business associations such as SHRM, IMAC, IMTA, and others, economic development, and other parts of government. So our teams take in referrals in any way, shape, and form. Our mission is to help maximize the opportunity for our businesses to stabilize and to grow within Illinois. When we have a referral, our teams work with that business to develop a plan of service. Based on the assessment, the teams develop a plan for execution of services to our business customer. Now, they are pre-COVID, pre-March of 2020. Most of those executions were done on a local level, a lot of times in person. But post-COVID, we've learned to move into virtual formats. And to the credit of business service teams throughout Illinois, they were moving in that direction prior to this in order to maximize services based on the number of miles and service areas they have within their LWIAs and EDRs. But again, post-COVID, we are now moving into a virtual format where we have developed plans, we execute those plans, and those plans are executed by conversations within those teams who represent, again, our core partners on the WIOA and our required partners based on the LWIA or EDR areas. The advent of the Get Hired Illinois platform has allowed us to look at another tool in our toolkit, as we work with our business customers and our job seekers to make those vital connections on the platform of recruitment. When it comes to workforce initiatives, employers look to us in three different ways, primarily. They look for us to help create a workforce for those new businesses coming into a local area. They look for us to assist with stabilization of their workforce within their service areas. And we also have the opportunity to work with expanding business opportunities for companies who are already resident within those communities. The business service team will leverage funding and opportunities and partnerships throughout their areas to provide great resources to our business community. There are opportunities that we've experienced on a level that we need to move up to our state partners, and they have provided in Illinois a great resource to us as a business service team, both on the local and the EDR level. As we work with the Get Hired Illinois virtual job fair platform, again, it's a tool. Many of the teams have developed tools within their own areas, but this has been a great addition for certain areas where we have not necessarily moved to that platform yet. From the perspective of the multiple employer engagements with the veterans community in November, we were able to execute, working with the Get Hired Illinois team, a series of 6 events, spotting communities all over Illinois, in which we brought 46 plus employers to the table to connect to job seekers. It was a great opportunity for us to respond in turn. With that opportunity, we've learned, and to the credit of the Get Hired Illinois team, they've expanded and created great flexibility in terms of this platform, to where now we are able to move into those opportunities for job seekers to have breakout sessions, to work with employers. We found that to be great advantage to our systems overall. Again, going back to our business service team, the resident in every local workforce area and within the EDRs, the primary connection to those teams would be our Title I partners. The leadership is determined within those coordinated teams. To reach out to any of the teams within local workforce areas, there was a map up previously indicating our 10 EDR regions and the local services within those regions. Please feel free to reach out to any of our business service team members. There's no bad portal to get in. You have my contact information, I think, inside of the chat. Feel free to reach out to me on behalf of business service teams and anything that I can do to connect you from this panel discussion to our teams. Or if you have businesses who have other outreach needs, feel free, again, to outreach to me. Daniel, with that, I'll turn it back to you and David.
So thank you very much, Theodore. I'd like to now introduce Patrice Brazil of Worldwide Flight Services. Now, she had previously participated in a virtual job fair event that we facilitated. And if you could, Patrice, just talk about your experience in working with our teams, kind of leading up to the event, and, any expectations or concerns you may have had, and how they were addressed before, during, and after the event, and just kind of your overall experience and any outcomes or results that occurred as a result of your participation. If you're talking, Patrice, I can't hear you. I'm not sure if your audio is synced up with the panelist. No, I can't hear you at the moment, Patrice. Kirsten, are you able to connect the call-in number with the panelists? So I think what we'll do now is I think we'll circle back to Patrice. So we'll circle back to this, but for now, I'd like to go over a couple of the resources that are on Illinois WorkNet that are available to employers. Let me share my screen here. Okay, so one of the resources I'd like to start off with is the Business Hub on Illinois WorkNet. And so just kind of some background, this is the landing area for employers that links to existing state and federal sites with information focused on serving businesses. There's a few different ways you can get to that. On the WorkNet homepage, we have, scroll down here, an icon for the Biz Hub. And it's also linked in the footer here to the website. So you can click either link and that'll open up this Business Hub page. Zoom out a little bit here. And so the purpose of this was to kind of have a central location for employee-related content with the goal of increasing informational flow and coordination between employers and partners. And it's not to replace or duplicate any existing data systems, but rather serve as a repository for all of this information. So going through this site here, we have a few different tiles. And you can see these kind of topics here. We got hiring, recruiting, and training, COVID-19 resources, entrepreneurship and small business, Illinois data, layoff assistance, unemployment taxes and reporting, international trade, safety and health, large business, and work-based learning and apprenticeship. And so if you hover over one of these icons, you get some preview text about this topic. And essentially there's resources within each of these topics. And so clicking on one of these will open up what we refer to as one of our guides on Illinois WorkNet. And the, make this a little bit bigger here. And so what you'll see here is, you'll see either an image or kind of a preview of that website, the name of the resource of that site, and some information about that resource. And if you click, the button Learn More, that'll then take you to that page with the resource links to. So this is the Illinois Office of Regulatory Flexibility. And so the way these guides are set up is this first slide here is really just sort of a table of contents to get an overview of what's included for entrepreneurship and small business. And if you click this Get Started, it'll send you to the next slide. And you can navigate through the slides by clicking these arrows here or this little icon here, this hamburger menu, I believe is what they're called. And you can click on the resource that you so choose to review. So we do have a link to a lot of different state agencies. We have DCEO, we provide information about SBDCs, different services and resource directories related to entrepreneurship and small business, and so forth. And you can also, we have on the homepage these different topics here. You can also access them when you're in one of these guides by clicking on a different selection here. And so this one's for unemployment taxes and reporting. These are all for employers. And so we do have subject matter experts for each of these topics, and we will periodically, touch base with them to make sure that we do have the latest information on these topics. That way, we can keep information fresh and help businesses with this resource. And so scrolling down here, we have a section for Service Finder and resources. And so up first, we have Illinois Job Link, and this will link to the employer page on Illinois Job Link, where they can find qualified candidates. The virtual job fair tool, which Daniel had covered. The DCEO's small business assistance page. The SBDC Small Business Development Center search, where employers can communicate with their local SBDC and just kind of get their information, guidance, and other resources if they want to start up or improve, enhance any practices they have with their business. And then we have the Illinois WorkNet Service Finder, which I'll talk about shortly, but this is a great tool where organizations can find and connect with organizations near them to provide anything from hiring and replacement information, labor market information, training for employees, and so forth. But we'll get to that shortly. And then Illinois College to Careers as well. And so below this, then we have our announcements and events section. We'll periodically update this with new updates for existing WorkNet tools or provide information about COVID-19. Before we would post about things that were relevant to businesses like Small Business Week or Entrepreneurship Month, that sort of thing under the announcements here, or just any kind of general information that employers might be interested in. Additionally, we have the events calendar, which talked about a little bit for virtual job fair, but these events will be they're filtered specifically to the business audience, and they're as part of the Illinois WorkNet calendar. News, kind of similar to the announcements. If there's a significant update or a themed month, it looks like the last couple we had on here were Small Business Saturday, an International Day of People with Disabilities, and a training program that was launched by the state of Illinois. And so this is synced up to our email list for business partners who have signed up for it. And so they'll receive those emails. And you can also click on this to see the what the email entailed and that information, and if there's any links associated with that. So scrolling down to the state agencies, we just list some different state agencies in Illinois that link to their pages on business. We have the governor's office, DCEO, IDES, ICCB. You can see the rest here, but you can hover over and learn more about that. And then additionally, we have success stories, which are just kind of testimonials about a individual business or a different program and its impact that the program had on an individual or business, to kind of show, you hear about different figures and numbers, but this kind of puts a more personal touch on it, so you can see how these different programs directly impacted individual, business, or the community it resides in. And then lastly, we have our subscription section. This is where you can enter your email address and sign up for some of those email lists, like the business partners one we have. Stay connected. This links to the Illinois WorkNet's social media channels. And then we have the latest feeds for Illinois WorkNet's Facebook and Twitter posts. So that covers.
David, I
Yes.
just wanted to jump in really quickly. We were able to, I believe, troubleshoot Patrice's audio issues. I was able to troubleshoot those with her. So it looks
Great.
like she can hop in and speak on her behalf now whenever you're ready for her.
Excellent. Yeah, and I think with that, then I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Patrice, to again, talk about your experience in working with us for the virtual job fair event. Your participation, your outcomes or results from your participation and utilization of the virtual job fair tool on workNet.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. I'm Patrice Brazil. I'm the Central Human Resource Manager for Worldwide Flight Services. I handle the territory between Cleveland, Ohio, and Kansas City, Missouri, including Chicago, Illinois. So in this area, I handle Chicago O'Hare, Chicago Midway, and the Rockford Airport. So generally, our company is hiring 50 to 75 people every year. This year, we've done a lot of expanding. In fact, I just got an email asking us to add 70 more people to the 76 that we're working on now. So we're growing by leaps and bounds. And I reached out to Patricia Moore, and she was able to help me to find something that would work to help me get the word out about the positions that we have available. Patricia works, she's the business relations specialist for the Cook Workforce Partnership. So she told me about the job fair that the state senator was going to be having, and I look forward to participating in it. Everybody was able to walk through the process, what would happen. I was lucky enough to have Theodore handle the applicants who were coming in so that I could talk with them individually, answer their questions. It was great because it gave you an opportunity to talk with them about what they knew about the company, what their interests were, whether or not this was going to be a good fit for them. They were able to learn more about worldwide flight services. They were able to see whether or not this was going to fit. And I got a lot of applicants from it. I've been able to hire 10 people so far based on the job fair that I participated in. So I'm looking forward to participating in more. It will help us to get the word out and help us to bring in new people a lot quicker. We try and hire people in a 1 to 1.5 week time frame, about 10 days at the most, and it's difficult. Sometimes you lose applicants because of the length of time that it can take. So having a tool like this at your disposal is something that helps you to make the process a lot quicker and bring on a lot more people as fast as possible.
Excellent. Thank you, Patrice.
Sure.
So I'd like to, share another resource that we have on my worknet here is the Apprenticeship Illinois page that we have. And so again, a couple of different ways you can access this page by going to illinoisworknet.com. It's accessible under this Illinois Initiative section, as well as the footer down here, Apprenticeship Illinois. So if you click on that, that'll open up this page. And I do want to preface that the Apprenticeship Illinois site is kind of currently a fluid thing. So in the coming weeks and months, you may see some changes to the content, structure, appearance, and all of that. But the idea with this is to kind of have a one-stop shop for all things apprenticeship. And so, this is our homepage here, and we have it broken out into, if an individual is interested in becoming an apprentice, they can, learn more. If employers are interested in hiring an apprentice or, starting a program, we can, we have contact information that they can, for some, experts that they can learn more about, the work involved there. And so going to the employer page, we just have some information about the different, considerations why apprenticeship is a good thing that they would want to pursue. Different resources, apprenticeship navigators who are individuals throughout the state that they can communicate with about their interest in starting an apprenticeship program, and some information on how to start a program. So if I click on this here, we have the apprenticeship navigators who are promoting apprenticeships in their regions.
I need to leave him back there because I gotta. This is.
I'm sorry, Theo.
I believe he was unmuted accidentally, so
Okay.
continue, David.
Sure. And so this page, talks about what apprenticeship navigators are, what they do. And we do have the contact information for the different navigators throughout the state. And so you can see, their name, the EDR that they serve, the counties that are included in that EDR that they serve, as well as a email and phone number that they may be reached at. And we also talk about, below this, how, contacting navigator can help a business with their interest in apprenticeships, from, supporting existing or fostering new partnerships, in conducting industry engagement and outreach. I know with the Apprenticeship Illinois initiative, a lot of current apprenticeship programs are kind of manufactured or construction based, but there is, it is possible to, include the apprenticeship model into other industries as well. But the navigators also serve as a point of contact. So, if there's any questions that different organizations have, they can certainly reach out to these navigators here. And so while we're talking about apprenticeships, I think now I will go ahead and ask Levon to step in. Now, Levon with ICCB will be talking about the apprenticeship grant and corporate training centers that are offered at community colleges. Levon?
Good morning, everyone. These are two separate points, apprenticeships and corporate training. But since we were talking about business resources and services, I thought it was important to cover the corporate training also. But regarding apprenticeships, as you all know, a lot of funding has flowed into Illinois for apprenticeship training, both to ICCB, the Illinois Community College Board, and to the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. I'm going to talk particularly about our grant, and I have reached out to navigators and talked to them about our project. What I have not done, and which I am going to do, I'm going to reach back the other way and share more information about the navigators and encourage the Capit colleges to reach out to the ones in their LWIA or in their EDR. So with that being said, we were awarded a 4-year U.S. Department of Labor grant known as the Scaling Apprenticeship Sector-Based Initiatives. And we chose the sector of IT, information technology. We are finishing up year 2 of our grant. The reason why I wanted to discuss this was because those of you that are out there that are, many of you are Title I, you may not be aware of this opportunity for individuals to access an apprenticeship in the IT area. And then also through the business and services teams, we are looking for more, or the colleges are looking for more businesses that would want to hire an apprentice and enter into a contractual arrangement on that. Now, through this grant, the beauty of this grant is we are not required to have registered apprentices. We may do unregistered apprentices, and we can also do pre-apprentices. So some of the other grants that Illinois has received have been a bit more restrictive. But just so you know, this is a very flexible initiative. There are the 10 colleges that are engaged, and so those of you would know. So Parkland Community College in Elwea 7, Kishwaukee College in Elwea 5, city colleges in Elwea 7, Rend Lake, which I think is in Elwea 24. I'm sorry, I might have made a mistake there. Richland, Elwea 19, ICC, Elwea 15, Lincoln Land 20, Joliet Junior College is 10, Oakton is also Elwea 7, and College of Lake County is Elwea 1. So you can see we have covered the state. If you want contact information, feel free to email me. It's lavon.nelson@illinois.gov, and I can send you the individual to reach out to if you're interested in exploring, if you have businesses that might be interested, or if you have individuals that are looking for this particular kind of training. This can include cybersecurity. They are most are offering Google IT training, CompTIA. So through the community college, because it includes instruction plus the work-based learning component. So at the end, if any of you have any questions about this, I'm more than happy to answer it. We have 2 more years left on this, as I have said, and we really want to, I want to extend more information to the colleges on the navigators and make a better connection. I think that will help. Regarding corporate training and business services, across the state, we have encouraged Illinois community colleges to become partners with their business services teams. Some have chosen to do that, and an example of that is College of DuPage, and they are with Elwea 6. Others have also, I just give that as an example. A corporate training center, or what many of them are referred to as business and industry centers, do is they build relationships with employers in their districts. Now, they can work across districts if they come together to meet a broader employer need, but because they are local taxing bodies, community colleges are required to provide those services to the residents in their particular district, and as a result, the businesses in their particular districts. So the beauty of this is that they can reach out to employers, work with them to develop and meet training needs, conduct needs assessments, et cetera. And so they can become a very important partner with the business services team. And we do encourage them to work together. If you are interested in more information, or if you want to contact a business and industry team, there is an association called WeTrain. And if you go in online, go to Google and type in WeTrain Illinois, it should bring up their page. So they work with other departments within their college. They are flexible along with the continuing ed department in that they can do a lot of initiatives that are non-credit, which can make them more nimble and quick with working with employers. So that is one of the good, things that oftentimes employers are looking for. I'm not discouraging credit by any mean, as I work for the Community College Board, but there is a time and place for non-credit, and employers often want that option. I'm once again happy to answer any questions at the end. If you want to know who the corporate and training person is and can't find them on WeTrain, feel free to reach out to me. Again, I will get that information to you. There have been some changes that needed to be updated, so it didn't make sense to send you to include an outdated list, which is getting updated. So thanks, and I'll answer any questions at the end. And thank you for including us in this discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining us, Levon. So next, I think one of the final resources that I wanted to go over is the Service Finder on Illinois WorkNet. And there's a few different ways you can access this. So going back to the homepage real quick here. It is included in our drop-down menu. You can click Network and Connect in the Illinois WorkNet Service Finder. Or you can scroll down to the section titled Guides and Tools and select the Service Finder icon. And so this will take you to a page. This Service Finder can be used by job seekers or employers. And it's a directory of organizations spread throughout Illinois that can help job seekers or businesses, depending on their needs, such as as we've discussed, hiring and placement, labor market information, employee training. You can use this search to find the nearest Illinois WorkNet or American Job Center. So just as a quick test here, since I'm in Springfield, I'll go ahead and enter that search in there. But we also have additional filters that'll kind of discuss, you can check the boxes to include, what the location serves as far as population and what services that they offer for individuals and businesses. You can see here just kind of at a glance that there's a variety of services that are offered. And so with this search, you'll see, first Springfield, the American Job Center for LWIA 20. And you can see at a glance, the address, the contact information, a link to their website, the audiences they serve, the services they provide for individuals and businesses. And you can connect to these organizations, and speak with someone about your needs. And I do want to point out that on the Business Hub, so that was the primary Service Finder, but on the Business Hub, we do have down here the Illinois WorkNet Service Finder. And so this is the same tool, but it's automatically filtered down to only show organizations that provide services to businesses. And so that kind of refines the search a little bit further. So you can use the search in the exact same way. It has the same information as far as locations that are providing services to businesses, and so forth. And so I did want to point that out. And I think now, before the Q&A, I do want to turn it over to Theodore once again to talk about the IDES labor exchange system. Theodore?
Yep, I had to unmute. Thank you. Labor exchange system, two things I want to talk about is the labor exchange system and the labor market information that's available to all the partners throughout the state of Illinois, both on our business side and job seeker side, and certainly within our partner organizations. The labor exchange system that we primarily use at Illinois Department of Employment Security is IllinoisJobLink.com. Currently in IllinoisJobLink.com, we have 95,300 opportunities listed today. And there are multiple opportunities within those listings. One of the things that Daniel displayed earlier as he went through the Get Hired Illinois portal, there is partnership. Not only with Get Hired Illinois, it's also with the labor exchange system, that being IllinoisJobLink.com, for both businesses and job seekers. We continue to work to integrate these systems together, but currently they're on different platforms, but we work in partnership to maximize, again, the opportunities for job seekers and for employers to engage on behalf of the state of Illinois. We support the virtual job fair system with eBlast for particular employers who have demonstrated need and the partnerships that we work with for the virtual job fair team. We can isolate job orders within that system and employers for events that we work on and tag those employers, as will Illinois as will Get Hired Illinois, I should say, will do. There are times that it may appear that things are separate, but these are integrated systems, and working to facilitate that even more every day. One of the things that David and Daniel indicated before, as a business identifies a need for workforce, that generally comes to IDS, and then from those referrals that we get, we forward those to our local workforce partners at the EDR and the LWIA business service team level for development of a response to that particular company. As we look at Illinois Job Link, it's an opportunity for individuals, job seekers, to register at no cost to themselves and connect to employers and job orders ongoing. Employers can do the same thing to be self-service or have our assistance. We highly encourage our employers who are registering in Illinois Job Link to look at the Get Hired Illinois portal as an opportunity to connect every day. The other piece that I would like to highlight for all those on this call today, moving forward, is on our front-facing webpage, and I sent the link out. And Christian, can you pull that link up by chance for labor market information?
You want me to share my screen and pull it up, or just put it in the chat?
If you pull it up on your screen, that would be great. I'll just talk about it in general.
You can go ahead and enter that in here, Theodore.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, okay. It just hit home. It does time out. Labor market information is available for anyone. From a business perspective, it allows us to drill down to local communities, to look at data, to do some analytics based on the local workforce areas or regions that you're working in. This is a tool that business service teams use on a regular basis. It captures a lot of information from a lot of sources, census, Bureau of Labor Statistics, etc. And I'm not the expert in all those areas, but it brings a lot of information into one piece that business teams can use to project information about the demographics, about the industries, occupational employment statistics within the areas that you're working. I would encourage all that have not went into that portal previously to go in, use it, explore it. You can't break it. And if you have questions about how to navigate it, please feel free to reach out to me and I will help you move through it. You know, a common question comes up from many economic development, and when I have search organizations come in the community, what's your unemployment rate? Well, this is an opportunity for us to dive into that. What does the wage information look like within that particular community? This portal has that information in a couple clicks for you in a report that you can produce. We can dig down deeper based on your needs. I just need to know exactly what you need, and we'll have our teams who manage that labor market portal doing that deep dive for you. But this is part of what we wanted to highlight. These systems are all integrated within Illinois workNet. So even though I gave you the link to come in from the IDS public facing webpage, you can also do the same within Illinois workNet to connect back to labor market information and to Illinois Job Link. But that's, the big pieces what we want to make sure that you understand that this is all one team. This is an integrated piece of work that we're all putting together. And we've had great results working with the DCO and workNet, and particularly David and Daniel and Levon, as we as a team work to stabilize and commit to the growth of businesses and the sustainable careers for individuals within our community. So on behalf of what I do for IDS, thank you all, and I'll turn it back to David and Daniel.
Thank you, Theodore. And I do want to thank all who have participated, Levon, Patrice, and Daniel. Thank you very much. And with that, I believe we'll go ahead and open it up to any questions that may have been asked in the chat.
Yes, thank you, David. And I'm gonna put up this slide again for everyone in case they would like to access anyone's emails and information. And then we did have some questions come through. Let me pull those up. So Jerry would like to know, so be sure to set up at least 3 to 5 days in advance to make sure you are approved. And I believe this was at the referring to what you talked about at the very beginning.
Right. So yeah, we do have, we do ask for 3 to 5 days for approval. Additionally, if, once your booth is approved as an individual employer, once it's approved, we do ask for 2 weeks notice if that business would like to hold an event. That way it gives us enough time to properly, market and promote it on social media, ensure everything is, correct, and, prepare the employer representative who will be on that webinar for the event so that it does, go well and is a successful event.
Great, thank you. And then Adam would like to know, could this site be used to conduct a reverse job fair where the candidates host their own booths?
Not at this time. That actually hasn't been, I don't believe has been brought up before, but, with the kind of post-event follow-up that we do with the individuals and the employers, for the employers, we do provide that, name and contact information of the participants so that they can reach out to them. I make the connection that way if the job seeker didn't get a chance to, ask any questions of the employer. And additionally, in that survey, we do ask, the post-event survey that we do ask job seekers if they have applied anywhere, and if so, to who, to kind of encourage that engagement as well. But not at this time. It is for employers to host the booths.
Okay, great. Thank you, David. Can DHS have access to the attendee information from the virtual job fair?
I know DHS has participated in a few different virtual job fairs, and that contact we've had with DHS was provided with the kind of information that was included in that post follow-up. But as far as having some different contacts accessing the system, so at this time, what we're currently doing, I should kind of preface this with, at the moment, we're kind of working through different enhancements we'd like to make to the system to kind of centralize, the different tools that we use. So one of them being, the event registration, which is in Eventbrite, and what we would like to do is include that into Illinois WorkNet so that we have a historical record of, and we can access the different attendee information on individual event or collectively. But I can follow up with you, Kelly, afterwards about possibly having DHS be provided with that information.
And then if a small business or organization has no digital footprint, they don't have a website or social media, would a virtual job fair be successful, or how would you recommend promoting it in that circumstance?
That's a good question. It would be tricky because what we do, what we have on the, as Daniel demonstrated, is that, employer entry, we do require that while an employer may not have a website, we do require a link with more information about those jobs. And, we've seen that can be, like an Indeed or ZipRecruiter search. So I think if, as long as, they have that, they post that information, then we can certainly link to it on and they could use that as the link for their employer booth, which would really be as far as, digital footprint. I think that is kind of the minimum piece of data, because then with that, I don't believe there's any other required fields that, necessarily require a digital footprint. But, with that in mind, I think it still could be successful, and we'd still be able to, market and promote it through our, regular means with a event calendar entry, different social media posts, through Illinois WorkNet's existing channels, and get the word out that way, and address any questions or concerns that employer representative may have. So, I think as long as they have, a posting online somewhere of the job or jobs that are available, that it could still be a successful event.
Okay, great. So I don't see any other questions coming through, but while we give everyone a couple more, like a minute more to kind of put anything in the chat if they wish to, I did also want to reiterate that this session was recorded, and it will be up on Illinois WorkNet and up on our website within 48 hours. Again, that direct link to our website is in the chat, and you can find the slide deck there if you need any of the panelists' information from today, if you need to access that at a later date. I also did want to put a plug in for tomorrow. You will receive a follow-up email with a follow-up survey that we do after every WEO Wednesday webinar. And if you could take 5 minutes out of your day to take that for us, I'm actually going to put that in the chat really quickly while I have a second here. And then any of our panelists today, did you have any last minute remarks or thoughts that you'd like to add to the conversation?
I would just say that, and I think I can speak for all of us on here, that if you do have any questions about these tools, virtual job fair, information IDES shared or Levon had shared, by all means, feel free to reach out to us, and we can certainly address any questions that you may have.
I agree. And I think this is Levon, just listening to all of these pieces that we have. Some of this, believe it or not, was even new to me, as it's, sometimes it's hard to keep up on all of the changes. But the one thing that came across to me is that with everything that we have out there, the more coordination, and integration that we can have with the work that we do, I think the more, of course, the more effective we can be with the businesses out there and our job seekers. So, please feel free to reach out to our partners with, questions or anything, and also to me, so that we can be more collaborative.
Great. Thank you so much, Levon.
Theodore Duckett, I would add for all on the call that since we started this partnership, and I've been, I think, a part of it since June or July of last year, meeting David and Daniel, there's been a huge amount of flexibility that's been displayed using this virtual job fair platform. If you have ideas, you have thoughts, send those over. David and Daniel have been nothing but accommodating and looking at other opportunities by which we can expand, as Levon said, our partnerships throughout our core and required partners, but also connecting our employers and job seekers using this platform. So again, you have thoughts, I would encourage anyone and everyone, send them our way. Let us look at it. Let's see what we can do with it. This is all brand new for me. I will tell you, this is a brand new 1 year period of time now, but a lot of opportunities we've seen. So thank you all for that.
And this is Daniel. I'll just give a few kind of concluding remarks or thoughts here. Just an FYI for the folks who may not be familiar with the tool. To date, we've held roughly, I think it's upward of 90 events total. We've had over 4,000 participants attend. Every time we hold these multi-employer events, The attendance keeps getting larger and larger. I think the word is spreading. We're continuing to review our best practices and kind of tailor those needs to the individual agency partners that we have, to the employers. And as Theo stated, we try to be, as flexible as we can when we're setting up these events. We definitely look forward to the work that lies ahead. Again, if you have any questions, regarding anything regarding virtual job fair, please feel free to reach out to me. I know my contact information was up on the slide there for quite a while. Nevertheless, I can enter that into the chat as well, but please just don't hesitate to reach out with any questions that you have, or if you're even kind of, mulling the idea over of perhaps hosting or holding an event, just feel free to reach out. We're here. So thank you all.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone. You all have a great rest of your Wednesday. We do have another session later this afternoon, a double feature We Have a Wednesday webinar. It is at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, and it is about bridging the gap between those that struggle with addiction and the workforce. It's this it's the second part in a two-part series. So if you're interested in that, please visit our website and you can still register. And if you've already registered, then we'll see you at 1 o'clock. And that's all I have for today. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, panelists, for your time. And everyone have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsten.